Hello, everybody, and welcome back to CADS. We're here once again, and we seem to be saying this every single time. After another loss. Now, these losses are starting to rack up, and you saw the title of the show this week. That sinking feeling. I got that partway through the game, and I was just like, this is not going to go well. When Van der Ven got sent off, I was like, damn it, that's us done. And then I realised he was only suspended for one match, and maybe things aren't as bad as I've seen. So maybe things are going to get better. But I am joined, as ever, the ever loyal A. How you doing, A?
Yeah, I'm good. I thought we have a break now. I'm just going to not think about Tottenham at all for my own help. Health. And then I remembered we got the pod one more time.
Yeah, we got a pod. But we get a break until Tuesday, and then Champions League. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. I mean, genuinely, I've got to the point now where Champions League can just go out the window. I don't care. Champions League has no reality to me when it comes to top level football right now. It's not even a consideration. We need to bin it off, and we need to concentrate on our Premier League form, winning games now, because every single game we lose just becomes another reason to lose the next game, right? Is that just me?
Yeah, I think it's a habit. Winning's a habit, losing's a habit.
Mm-hmm.
In that nasty habit. We don't know where the win's going to come from. And to see how it all played out yesterday was even more galling, because it's the hope that kills you. And we get a goal ruled out against us, which was a huge relief. Then we go up the other end and score.
Mm-hmm.
And then it all gives you the most amazing hope, because we haven't scored first in a long time. And you think, okay, maybe this is what you need. And then, it all goes to poop.
yeah, that's fair. Let's talk about that goal. Good approach work from Tell. A lovely bit of skill from the guy. I think is just wonderful, Archie Gray. I think he's just getting better and better. Great work from him, and then quick footwork and a tidy finish from Dominic Solanke. Any complaints? Anything? Any notes on that?
No, but I think it is our most effective players combining. You can say that, and that led to something good. But we weren't particularly good up to then, but we weren't particularly bad either. So although the defense looked really shaky, and we saw what happened after that. But in terms of the play, Archie is a remarkable player. Everybody else seems to be devoid of confidence and scared to try things. And he's pulling great bits of skill off and creating from it. And I think you can say the same for Tell. Head never seems to drop, always seems to try something. And I think it's a case of our best players just combining, and we need more.
Yeah, I'd add Pape Mathys to that as well. I thought he put in a good shift. He didn't really make any mistakes. He worked so hard, and he combined pretty well with Gray as well. I just wanted the two of them in midfield together. That was my thing. I saw them on the team sheet. I saw the team sheet, and I thought, okay, Palhinha's going to be in defence. Porro's going to be our wing back, and then we'll have a central midfield of Gray and Sarr, and three guys in front of them doing some running and hard work. And it just didn't. I mean, they didn't play like that. It just seemed weird.
Archie was shouted on the right wing.
Yeah. Porro was the right centre back for some reason.
Yeah, and then Porro at centre back, and Pape looked like he had to cover the entire midfield himself. There was just like this massive hole. If anybody could do it in our team, he can with his engine. But still, it was just this was a game Richie needed to start.
I thought so,
and he didn't. Other than that, I mean, you can't really complain. I mean, even I think Dragoson's had a small injury, but I wouldn't have played him anyway. After the ACL, he's had a lot of games, and think it's risky. The only thing I would say, what maybe Richie's not ready to start. I mean, we have to consider that he's come back, and we wouldn't know that. Only the team would know that. So I guess if Richie's not ready to start, then he doesn't have much option up front there. The only thing I would say with the team is that Paulinho should stay at the fullback, in the defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think even if Richie isn't fit enough to start, if he's got 50, 60 minutes in, you play him from the start, and then you make sure there's a sub ready to go on, so you don't overexert him. But just having that kind of determination and his willingness to be the bad boy and put in the hard yards just makes such a difference. He is the only player I can think of in the squad who's got experience of battling relegation from his time at Everton and Watford. When Paulinho was at Fulham, they didn't really struggle that much. I mean, I'd like to say Odebear's broken. He's injured, so he can't add anything either. Everyone else has lived a fairly comfortable life, shall we say, in the Premier League or, at other clubs. And
it was nice to see Decky in the stands.
It was very good to see him. Hopefully that means he's getting in and around the change room and the training. I mean, I know he has been, we've seen the videos of him training. I don't think he's on the grass yet. I don't think he's out with the team like Maddison has been. And I still think Maddison's a long way off. But it must be good having that experience around, certainly.
Yeah, but it's just a shocking situation this way. I don't think you can blame the coach too much. Yeah,
that's exactly what I was going to say. Where do we lay the blame on this? Because it wasn't a great performance. Okay, this is Igor Tudor's third match. He's had tough matches to start with. Okay, Arsenal, I never expect to get anything from Arsenal. Fulham are flying this season for them. They're having a very good time. And then we came to this one, Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, they are a good team. They've got good players in there, as we saw. But they're not having a great time. And I genuinely think they were beatable.
I said in the last pod, it's going to be tough against them because they are well organized. It doesn't matter who they have. And we're quite disorganized. And until we can sort that out, it's going to look terrible. And you're seeing this in the defense because it's a completely different defense from last week. And with personnel and positioning. And it was the same the week before, and it was the same the week before. There's no settled combinations at the back, and that's where a lot of errors are coming in. I mean, Archie Gray and Mathys get pushed into all sorts of positions. Tell is a wing back. I mean, he's doing it. He doesn't shirk away from it. He's going to make mistakes. He's never played wing back before. It's we've got 12 days, and I would be hoping that his words from yesterday carry true, that he knows who he can count on and who he can't count on, and you've got this time to now work with just those players, I would say, as your starting 11, and say, right, you're going to do 70 minutes, and this entire week, this is how we play. Use the Champions League thing as a dress rehearsal if you have to. And
genuinely, I'd be playing as many kids as required. All the kids and Micky van der Ven, frankly, because he can't play against Liverpool. So,
it'll be him and Romero. Romero's not suspended in the.
He's not suspended for the Champions League, no, but he's had a little niggle or something apparently. So there's a possibility he won't play. Tudor said for the next game
we have our strongest defensive three.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but Tudor said for the next league game that Spence might be back and Dragoshin might be back. So there's opportunities there to move people around. Maybe we'll play a back three with 3 actual central defenders.
That's what I was saying. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, playing players in their proper positions. And then we can play Porro at his actual right wing, Sousa left wing back. Play Gray where he's supposed to be playing. He's a central midfielder. He's a damn fine central. We saw some really good stuff from him. Let's just have a moment. Archie Gray appreciation moment. I thought that kid was great. And I genuinely think he was one of the players who felt it the most when that final whistle, because he dropped down to his knees and he looked absolutely shattered and devastated by what had happened. Like, this player cares. We need to get more of that.
He had as good a game as Wharton did.
Yeah.
And he was played
Wharton did well.
Out of position.
Yeah.
And he didn't have any stability in that team. And I think he can do what Wharton can do, the passing, the adventures, the movement. And yeah, it's sad looking at these players that you should be targeting, but you can't get them when you're in the championship.
Yeah. The other thing I liked about Gray was his link-up play. He linked up well with Tell. He linked up well with Pape Mathys, and when Xavi came on, he linked up well with Xavi. I think we probably saw some of Xavi's best work this season in that last period. So, it was good to see that there's some kind of understanding between these players, because I do think chemistry and understanding between players really makes a massive difference. And when people aren't able to read each other, certainly in attacking moves, then everything falls apart. So that was good for me. I enjoyed that.
If you know where the person's going to be and you have a link with them, your passes are quicker, crisper, your movement's better. It's that millisecond that you need to beat some press or to create some space. And it's been lacking the entire season. Our biggest games are still to come. And
well, as we said, this Palace game was a big one. It was a very big one, frankly.
Look, it was awful when they scored those 3 goals, right? And then everything goes out the window. You're in a relegation dogfight. You start taking risks. You really have to do things you didn't want to do, maybe not in the game plan, So it's hard to judge. But up to then, I saw some we're clutching at straws, but some green shoots, I think the thing that worries me the most is that they can't break this cycle of bad luck. We make our own bad luck. We almost invite it, and and this losing cycle. We need to win a home game badly.
Yeah.
And I think once we do that, I think the pressure will be released. I think right now they are hamstrung by that awful record.
Yeah, we do need to talk about that red card. They really can't. It was Stonewall, absolute Stonewall penalty and Stonewall red card. I thought on initial viewing, maybe he's left his hand on him, but you look at the replays and he grabbed hold of him with both hands and pulled down. It was an absolute Stonewall red card. And for a player who, although he's young, Micky van der Ven is still young. He's got enough experience to know better than that.
Not only that, I thought Sarr's touch was heavy. If he had half a chance, if he came out for that, and he might have, or it would have been a difficult finish, a ball bouncing up high. Even if it's a goal, so what? It's 1-1, and you can come back from that. Micky doesn't want to be here. It speaks a lot to his character, I would say. There's some players that are not up for it, and he's one of them.
The problem is he's so integral to the way we play or have played that to try and think about moving on from him is so difficult.
I've resigned myself to him playing for Liverpool next year.
Oh yeah, well they definitely need it. Although they spent some money on young defenders to come in next season already, so I think probably Barcelona's more likely, but where they're going to get the money from to pay for him, I do not know.
I don't think so. I think Liverpool's a team who will buy more than one.
But they've got 2 coming in already for next summer. So Jeremy Jacquet and somebody else. But I mean, wherever he goes, he will do well. He's an excellent player. He's just that kind of.
Some people need stability.
Some people need to move sometimes,
and he doesn't have it. He doesn't have stability.
Mm.
I think
What
you
about
see difference in a
what
stable.
about his regular partner? Do we see QT Romero being at the club next season, regardless if we stay up or go down?
Nah, no. If we go down, we lose them. I think if we miraculously stay up and there's a huge overhaul like they're talking about
Yeah,
behind the scenes, and somebody comes in and sits them down and says, listen, we messed up, and this is how it's going to be. We're going out heavy. We've
yeah,
appointed a manager already. He is a big name. He wants to be here. We can't tell you who it is at the moment, but we're starting to buy for him. That's, so planning would be like this. And we're going big and we're going early. I think
yeah,
that would like signal something. And I think there's something for some players who want to be part of a turnaround.
yeah,
I think there's some characters there that will, when you have strong characters, they're good for you, but when things are also really bad, you look at it in a different light. I don't think like all these players are bad eggs, for example. I think they're human beings expressing their frustrations, and they're young men, and they put into this horrible situation. They've got 60,000 people depending on you and turning on you at certain times, and you're not getting help from your employer who's messed up, and it's tough for them. Sometimes I think the things that they say get misconstrued.
mm-hmm.
And same with Tudor. I mean, I read a lot of people saying, don't tell us what's wrong, just bloody fix it. Like, what do you expect him to say in a press conference that he's mandated to do?
Yep.
What is this guy going to do? It's and I'm sure he knows it's part of the job, but it's a bit unfair if you ask me.
I've quite liked the fact that he's pushed back against the journalists, because he's said several times, I'm not going to talk about it any further. You've already got my thoughts on it. I'm not saying anymore. And it's like, no, but really, what do you think? It's like, I'm not saying anymore. I've given you my thoughts. We're done on this. I quite appreciate that. In terms of his work off the pitch, I think he's a massive step up from Thomas Frank. In terms of the work on the pitch, I think he's a slight step up from Thomas Frank. We're still struggling. We haven't turned anything around yet. But at the same time, I don't see any point in changing him, because I don't with the players we've got out injured, the players we have available, I think he wants to play a certain tactical setup which suits the players we've got. And until we've got wingers, until we've got wide players, there's no point changing from this current setup.
If we had Kulusevski,
yeah,
and I would say Bentancur now with handbrake off, sort of different manager, and one that he knows well, I think you'd see something very different, because both of them have that dog in them as well.
Yeah,
they're not passive guys, and I think we're too passive.
Definitely.
Out India, yeah. Their first goal, the penalty incident, you can see the disconnect between the back three that allowed him to get in. He should never have got in there. And it's just, that was poor. That situation should have been avoided a lot earlier.
Yeah, and the third goal as well was a disconnect.
It's disconnect, but by then you're down to 10, and your left winger, who tries to work hard but is not a defender, is now picking the ball up in places that he should, he's not used to, and he defaults to taking risky passes like he would in the final third, because that's where he's used to playing. And I don't think it's all doom and gloom. I think you show them that first part, and I think they'll say, listen to the stadium when we actually did something and got ahead.
Oh yes.
So now the second part is, can we cut out the mistakes? And we're going to do that, because by settling at the back now, everybody's back. Let's settle at the back. There's three people. This is your job, and this is what you do when he does this, and you do that mechanically all the time. And I think you'd see something better. I think if we have our back three of Romero, Denso, and Van de Ven, Van de Ven needs to play in the middle.
Okay.
Denso on the left.
I
get
like
caught
Danso
off
at the left. I think Danso has some of his best games down the left.
on the left, yeah. Romero on the right, because Romero's less exposed for pace. On that side, and then in the middle. I think we've been caught out to that, but other than that, but there were some half decent passes. I can't. It's awful compared to what we used to, but compared to what we've seen for a year and a half, yeah.
Certainly compared to what we've seen at the start of the season, it's chalk and cheese. If we hadn't had, I keep coming back to these injury problems. If we hadn't had these injury issues, we would not be down where we are. You know, if we had players with some more dog in them, you know, like Kulusevski or Bentancur, if we'd had them on side in the side longer, you know, Kulusevski's not played a game this year. He's not played a game this season, and he may not play a game this season.
January decision so crazy, right? Because that's where you get people, even if you sell them in the new year for a loss, doesn't cost as much as relegation. You know, two players right now, any two players across any of the departments that we're looking at would have been a huge help.
Yeah, the problem is I think the January transfer window has been damaged in a way by the Champions League, the new Champions League setup, because it goes on to basically past the point where the transfer window is closed.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if you're in a relegation battle, you're not necessarily looking at people
too much.
Yeah, you know, you're looking at the Will Hughes and Iran and those sort of guys. Things like that could have worked, you know. I think they've left us short, and it's a mistake. It shows their lack of ability to adequately run a football club of any size, let alone Spurs. It's a mess up. It's a big mess up. But if we settle at the back, we should have enough. I would say. I still think we're trying to play too much through the midfield. We don't have those players besides Archie. It's Archie alone and Pape. Pape is not a best passer. He's a bomb into the box, get in there, you know.
Yeah.
I think we need to bypass the midfield. It's not going to be pretty, but the players that we have, we should go. But by the way, when's Kudus coming back?
Mid-April, apparently, but that's a tentative time. About the same time as Udogi. So
far away.
Yeah. It's going to be total. Well, I mean, he might be back. They may be back for the Sunderland game on the 12th of April. I mean, we are somewhat lucky, right? We've got very few games until we get into mid-April now. If you exclude Champions League, because we don't have FA Cup this weekend. Then we've got a Champions League game, Liverpool, which genuinely I don't expect to get anything out of. But at the same time, that's exactly the kind of game we might get something out of, because we don't expect to do anything. Then we've got Atletico again at home. And then we got on the 22nd of March, so 16 days away from now, we've got Nottingham Forest. And then you've got like 20 days until Sunderland game. So you've got decent chunks of time in it. Yeah, if we get through the Champions League.
So it's basically, we've got one more game, two more games without Kudus. Without Kudus.
They're saying middle of April. It is a possibility he could be back for the Sunderland game.
Yeah.
So
that'd be amazing.
Possible. It would be great if he was, because he is somebody who would make a difference. But again, if you've got somebody in that side like Kudus, you need to use him in the right way. You can't just pump the ball at him and expect him to do something. You need to have systems set up to play.
But I think right now, if you look at the way they're getting the ball to Tell and Gray, where he was, there is some different progression. And then, you know, I think they need to stop faffing around, and it's going to be it's got to be Tell behind Solanke or Richarlison. Between those three. Because his biggest asset is his shot. And we put him in a place where he can't shoot. We don't need goals. Let him shoot. He gets so much a purchase on that. Let him shoot. That's what I'd be saying. Shoot a lot. Follow up. Get the ball wide. Cause some chaos. And be strong at the back.
Yeah, I agree. The thing that interests me in terms of Tudor's tactics is throughout his career, he's been a 3-4-2-1 guy, right? So he's played 2 number 10s behind a lone striker.
And he hasn't.
And he hasn't done it here. He's played 1 number 10. He's played Xavi. And the last game, he didn't play any. He's paired him up supposedly with Kalimwani, but Kalimwani's been acting as a striker to, we could say, debatable levels of success. So, does he feel scared to play the way he wants to? Or does he just feel that the players aren't capable? Because Gallagher's played number 10 before. He played number 10 for Palace in the Premier League.
I think he doesn't feel they're capable.
Yeah.
I read somewhere that they can't get to the players as they are, don't get it to round 5 of the beep test. They gasp before round.
Oh, God. That's awful.
Yeah, that's awful. Yeah. I remember in Poch's days, the pass mark was 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who am I to, big chunky me sat here saying the beep testers, but professional footballers should be able to get a little bit further.
To give you an idea, the front row forwards of the Springboks get to 9 beep tests.
Right. Yeah.
And they're 130 to 150 kilograms. They're big boys.
Fair enough. My kind of size. Fair enough. Good lads.
But look, I think it might also be a bit unfair because if you're continuously playing through injury, you're not going to be at those levels. Mm-hmm. So, we're in this horrible situation, but now he's got time. He's got enough time now to rest them up, get them fit, build them up slowly, and to settle. That's what I think they've got to do. They've got to settle on a team. There's too much of chopping and changing. None of us can predict. Even with the limited squad we have, we always some surprise somewhere. It's time for lose those surprises and pick it up from there.
So I've been looking through the history books and looking at supposedly big sides that have gone down, namely West Ham and Newcastle United over the last few years, but last couple of decades, right?
Yes,
and there are a couple of things that Leicester weren't so big, but yeah, you could say that. There's a few things that Aston Villa, yeah. There's a few things that do kind of run through regularly when big clubs like that get relegated. The first one is they're unable to put out a settled defence because of injuries. Like too much chopping and changing at the back leads to issues and problems, a lack of understanding and conceding too many goals, which certainly we've been doing. Clubs that concede more than a goal a game, they've got to score 3 to win, right?
Yeah, and that's us.
So if you're conceding 2, you've got to score 3, and we don't seem capable of scoring 3 right now. The other thing is, if you're not picking up enough points, you get stuck in this death spiral, right? And the average I think they're looking at is something like, if you want to survive, you need to be picking up something like 1.6, 1.7 points per game. Okay, we're picking up something like 0.79, which is really very, very, very bad. So those things combined say we are in trouble. And I think there is no denying it right now. We are absolutely in trouble. I just really hope that the teams we've got below us, or specifically West Ham, are bad enough to not be able to push us. But when they've got to be looking at Spurs and going, they might save us. Their faltering form, their inability to see a game out.
Oh, well, if you watch West Ham and you watch Spurs, it's completely different. They're fighting. They've got belief, and we're the opposite.
I'm not saying our players don't work hard. They do not work as hard, I think, as West Ham's team. But also, there's no sense of urgency in that first half. There was no sense of urgency for us.
Yeah, I think that's a confidence thing.
Yeah, I agree, but it's something that's got to do. You've got to play with that sense of urgency. Otherwise, you're just sitting back and waiting. If you're too passive, as you said earlier, you're waiting to get hit, and
I'm just hoping that our captain, having had time to sit and reflect, will have to take hold of his team and say, listen, we won the Europa League with a mentality. We were shit the whole season, but we had this mentality. And we need that mentality now. Every game is a Europa League semi-final, final. And we kept teams out. They couldn't get in. We fought for everything. And we went up the other end and we got a goal or two, and that was enough. And that's what we need now.
And we have games. We still have games that are winnable. We've got Nottingham Forest, Sunderland, Brighton, Leeds. Wolves, Leeds. All of those games we can win.
And every single one of those teams are playing better than us.
Every team in the league is playing better than us right now. We are form-wise, we are the worst side in 2026.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't won a game in 70 days or something. 67, 68 days or something. Yeah.
Oh, dear me. Okay, before we close this out, what needs to happen at board level in your eyes for us to not experience this again if we manage to get out of it this time?
Well, I think they've shown a lot of ineptitude. They've shown ineptitude that is actually detrimental to the complete existence of this club as a Premier League team, and it's a crisis of proportions, huge proportions, and you could see the impact it would have on everything Spurs related, Tottenham area related players, everything that's been built up over the last 20 years to try and make Spurs compete, and will be thrown down the drain. And I think when you make errors of those magnitudes, you can't expect to keep your job. The problem is who's hiring, what vision do they have? There is something to be said with, okay, they've made a mistake, and do they learn from the mistakes as opposed to somebody else coming in and having to learn again? But I think it's too far gone for that. I think Venkateshan and Langer need to go, and they need to really look for football men. I wouldn't be opposed to them going back to Ange, but not as a coach.
Ange has said he will never go back to a club. So
yeah, but as a coach, right? Never go back as a coach. Yeah, I'm not saying have him as a coach. I would want.
So you'd want to bring him in as like a director of football style, a director of club culture,
something like that.
Interesting.
Yeah. That, I mean, if you heard his overlap interview, I didn't agree with everything, but he got most of the important stuff correct, and he got it. And first step to fixing things is having somebody who knows what's wrong. So, but moot point, it's him or it's not him, it doesn't matter. But there needs to be somebody more in tune with football matters, that understand how these things work. And and they need to pull us up from the ground up. And they've got to go huge in the summer if we survive.
I think whatever happens, we need to have a mass clear out of players in the summer, because we need to be absolutely ruthless. We need to look at someone and say, A, is that person going to want to stay here? And B, are they someone we genuinely think is going to have a positive effect on the side? And if either of those things are no, then they're gone. We need to get them out of the club. Even if it means it's people like Micky van der Ven or Romero or Vicario or Porro,
No, I
There's a
think
very,
he's got.
very big chance we need to spend a
Mm.
significant sum of money and buy in a significant number of players over the summer. And it being a World Cup year is not going to help. But it needs to be done because we need to build our side around players who are hungry to actually win the ball and do something with it and hungry for success as well. And at
I
the
think
moment,
what you're
we
going to
don't have enough
see
of this.
is the age-old adage that we can make excuses for why people don't want to come and how difficult it is. But in the end, money talks and the other thing walks.
Yeah.
And they've got to sort something out with the wages, even if it's not the highest caliber of players, but players that will take us to the next level. They've got to do it. And then we'll see, just how serious these guys are about saving this club or not.
And that's the other thing. I'm not convinced that they're prepared to spend the kind of money that needs to be spent because, we've seen year after year that we get told, oh, there's an amount of money that needs to be spent. There was 150 million a few years ago. That money never got spent. Something like 50 million of it got spent, right? And now they're saying, oh, yeah, there's another 100 million to spend next year. But it's always next year. It's always next transfer window. Like, why wasn't some of that money spent in January? I mean, we came out having spent something like 8 million in January when you take into account the Alejo Veliz move. It is absolutely crazy.
The only thing I would say is that everybody's scared at the moment. Their investment, their share prices, their value of the club, all of these things are threatened by relegation and not having enough players to properly fight this situation and good enough players. So I think, I wouldn't make the same mistake twice, even if I didn't know football too well. I'd be like, we need to, because even now you're saying, look, it's about bodies. We needed bodies. We needed more bodies in the squad, and we just don't have it. So I think they'll have to, for no other reason than they want to protect their investment.
Yeah, having bodies is great. Having fit bodies is really important. But if those bodies aren't of the required caliber, then they sit in the reserves and they don't get played. It's the same thing with the wage structure. We've got very good players, but if we were to pay them more money, they don't become better players.
Yeah. You look at it now, and you think about some of the missed opportunities. They've got to learn from all those things, and we're even less attractive now. So no haggling now. If you got a chance, do it. And then you look back at the wanting to sign Andy Robertson. He would be flipping Andy right now. Yeah. Down that side, proven winner, has been through relegation, fighter, strong character, set standards. You're going to need a good mix of signings.
Yeah.
But it's
and I think we have got better at moving relatively quickly. The Eze thing was not good, but I still feel the Eze thing was foot dragging from the other side.
Yeah,
it wasn't so much down to Levy so much. It was more down to the directors there, and particularly Eze and his agent wanting to try and get Arsenal involved, and it worked. They got what they wanted. Gibbs White, would have been great. I think he'd have done a very good job for us, but we moved quickly. We got a deal agreed. That was all done. It's just it got scuppered by the Nottingham Forest chairman. That's not something you can factor in. Oh, we offered him money, but he ended up staying at thing. Yeah, something happened there. Something happened there. We don't know what, but something happened there.
But because the thing is as well, it's not like even something we can revisit, because if somehow we survive relegation and Forest go down, there'll be better teams than us, stable teams. Everybody can see how bad it is looking for this guy.
Yeah, Manchester United have been linked with him now, so he'll probably end up there because Fernandes is probably going to end up moving somewhere. Sorry, need to say his name properly. Bruno Fernandes. But yeah, and players like Elliot Anderson are going to end up at Manchester City or Liverpool, places like that, you know. So,
Yeah.
but we need to identify the players who the next ones off the pipeline. Come get those guys in, but move quickly and get them in. You know, we missed out on Eze before, not this time round. Previously, we missed out on Eze. We missed out on Wharton. You know, we missed out on so many players because we just divered and waited and thought maybe we can get him for a little bit cheaper. Let's just identify who we want, go for those players and make sure we get it over the line quickly. And if we don't get it done within a certain amount of time, move on. Find somebody else. There are other players out there. There always are. You just need to identify the players you want, work out who your backup options are, and go through that list as quickly as possible. Because if you want to act like, if you want to be a big club, you've got to act like a big club. And right now we've acted like a mid-table club.
No, we're
hoping
like
to get into the big leagues.
We're
and
like
suddenly we're stuck.
Yeah.
All right. So we're not going to do anything after the Champions League games. So that means we are going to be on a little bit of a hiatus. We're going to have a bit of a break. Unless something crazy happens, like Igor Tudor gets relieved of his post, then we will be back. We'll talk about some crazy stuff then. But until then, our next scheduled one is the 23rd of March. So we will be talking about the Nottingham Forest game. Let's hope we have something more positive to say. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. I know it's not been a fun one to talk about, but having you here, as always, fantastic. See you soon, mate.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Come on, you Spurs.
Never end. Last week we claimed it'll be 5-0 for sure. Now we're debating if we'll score at the door. Did you see that last miss? What a fiery debate as we pull up our chairs and we narrow our fates. Hot takes flying high, we're the kings of the pub, while the lads on the pitch just need a good rub. From the top of the table or right back to the ground, you'll hear us all chatting that familiar sound. The CADS chat shit. Raise your voice loud, shout it out tonight. The CADS chat shit, we'll sing it again with a smile and a grin. Oh, here's to the boys, let's make it a trend. With a wink and a nudge, let the fun never end. We'll argue with a passion like it's do or die, with half-baked logic and a mischievous eye. Trust me, mate, we'll climb up the